Where does Duolingo's Swahili course place a fluent Swahili speaker? That is the question. So, I'm adding Swahili brand new from scratch, and we're going to see where it puts me. I just want to make a disclaimer that the Swahili course does not specify the levels on the CEFR, the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages, which there are 6 levels. On other courses like the French and the Spanish course, it does tell you where you're at in Duolingo. It will tell you where you're at on the CEFR level, but in the Swahili courses, it does not specify. But we're going to jump right into it. So here's my test to get over some basics, or to cross some basics.
Yeye ni Mtanzania.
Yeye ni Mtanzania. He is a Tanzanian. He is Tanzanian. So a Tanzanian or Tanzanian, both are correct.
Wageni.
Wageni. Guests. Could also mean foreigners.
Ninahitaji mchuzi tafadhali.
Ninahitaji mchuzi tafadhali. Yeah, that sounds like somebody who's really beginning learning Swahili.
Ninahitaji mchuzi tafadhali.
More commonly, you should say naomba, or kuomba is and especially in Tanzania, it's a very polite way of asking. Instead of I want or I need, naomba is kind of like I'm begging, I'm asking please for mchuzi as sauce. Naomba mchuzi. And tafadhali is kind of, you're going over the top. That's please. Most people don't use please. They just say naomba, whatever it is that you're asking for. Rice and potatoes and beans. Wali, na viazi na maharage. Okay, fair enough.
Choo chetu.
Choo chetu, our toilet. Yes, if you want to know what toilet is in Swahili, it's choo. The plural toilets is vyoo. It is important to know. But you would probably ask, if you want to know where the toilets are, here's what you should say. Nielekeze chooni. Direct me to the toilets. It's a polite way to ask. Instead of where are the toilets? It's kind of like, yeah. Emilian is stylish. Emilian. Ni mrembo. Try again.
Mrembo.
Ni maridadi. Okay, I know.
Maridadi.
Yeah, maridadi is a not commonly used word for fancy. So stylish, instead of saying Emilian is stylish or Emilian is fancy, you should say Emilian is looking pleasing, which sounds kind of funny if you translate it to English, but it would be Emilian amependeza. It means you're looking good. Rudi. That is just a simple imperative to return. Maliza shule. This is a more direct imperative. Finish school. You have paid. Well, they only give you one option for this. Umelipa. So that's a little strange. One option. Wow.
Tembea taratibu.
Tembea taratibu. That's fine. It's an imperative, a strong imperative.
Taratibu.
Walk carefully. Okay. We will choose a nice one. Again, they are not giving me any other alternatives. They're just giving me exactly. Tutakichagua kizuri. A nice one. Tutakichagua, that the little thing in the middle, which you'll learn more about as you get more advanced. Usually that's left out unless you're watching like the news. So it would be tutachagua kizuri, kitu kizuri, a nice thing. And actually nice one, kizuri actually means thing. So one could be anything. Tutachagua moja mzuri, yeah, I mean.
Watapanda basi kwa kituo cha basi.
Watapanda basi kwa kituo cha basi. It's a little repetitive, but they will board the bus at the bus stand. They will board the bus at the bus stop. Same thing, stand, stop.
Tulisema kwamba tutapika.
Tulisema kwamba tutapika. Kwamba, you could easily leave that out. That means that. We said that we will cook. If you just leave out kwamba or that, it's more common. So tulisema tutapika. We said we will cook. We said that kwamba we will cook. Gosh, this is pretty basic.
Alicheka nami.
Yeah.
Alicheka nami.
Alicheka nami.
Nami.
He laughed with me. He or she laughed with me. You can also say alicheka na mimi if you want to emphasize you. He laughed with me. But equally correct, alicheka nami. You just kind of combine those two and then leave out the last me.
Rashidi naye anapenda vitabu.
Rashidi naye anapenda vitabu. Rashidi and Rashidi naye. Rashidi likes books. Rashidi naye and him. Rashidi and him. He likes books. So this does not make sense. Rashidi naye. I'm going to go with just Rashidi likes books. I don't know why they put in this naye here. Okay, Rashidi naye anapenda vitabu. It's saying even Rashidi likes books. I have never heard that. That's not a good way to translate even. You should translate it as even is hata. Hata Rashidi anapenda vitabu. Even Rashidi likes books. So this is not correct. Not very good Swahili. They are sorry. Wamesikitika. To say you're sorry, wanaomba msamaha. Wamesikitika is kind of like I'm sorry, but it's a little bit more like disappointed or like a lower level of sad. So it's not a very good direct translation. I would not translate it that way.
Nimesikitika.
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 Second exercise in a row where they're only giving you one option. So how is this a good test if they're only giving you one option? Did you speak to him? Je. They put that there in capital. Je is sometimes used at the beginning of a sentence to emphasize that you're asking a question. Je. Umeongea naye. Or je, ulizungumza naye. Okay, that's fine. Ulizungumza is more frequently used in Zanzibari dialect, the coastal dialect. But in the inland, western, northern, in the inland on the continent, you're going to hear more of the Bantu derivative of that, which is kuzungumza and kuongea. Both mean to talk, to speak. But inland on the continent, you're rarely going to hear tulizungumza. You will hear it sometimes, but more common it's kuongea. Je, uliongea naye? Did you speak with him? Did you talk with him?
Jokofu na kiokeo.
Jokofu na kiokeo. Wow. Okay. A fridge. Well, this is going pretty far. This is some real deep Swahili that is not used. And an oven. Okay, so they're saying that jokofu, Jokofu, is the translation for fridge, and it may very well be. If I look it up here just briefly in the dictionary. Yes, it's a refrigerator, but most people these days, more and more English is going into Swahili. It would be friji. Friji na kiokeo, you could just say oven. The ovens are not all that common in Tanzania. So if you're speaking about an oven, it's probably going to be people in the city or people who have the ability to buy and use an oven at home. And they're just going to say friji na oven. It's kind of like a Creole-ish type Swahili. So I've never heard anybody say jokofu for fridge, just say friji. And I've never heard anyone say kiokeo for oven, just say oven. This is a chair with 3 legs. Hiki, this. is ni.
Ni.
Kiti, a chair.
Kiti.
Hiki ni kiti. Okay, they're using this fancy chenye, which means it possesses.
Chenye.
Chenye. Miguu,
Miguu.
legs,
Mitatu.
3. Okay, hiki ni kiti chenye miguu mitatu. This is a chair with 3 legs. More commonly, you're not going to hear this chenye, vienye. That is a little advanced Swahili again, so at this level I would not be expecting to be tested on something like this. And you're also not going to hear it very much. It's just not colloquial Swahili, which is what you really want to aim for. So it would be hiki ni kiti na miguu mitatu. Na, instead of chenye, just put in with, na, and then you're good to go. So I finished the test. The moment has arrived. It is being graded. I'm committed. You jumped ahead to section 2 of Swahili. Wow. So so I'm fluent at on the Common European Framework. It is the CEFR. So why do I always butcher this? The Common European Framework of Reference for Languages, CEFR. You can Google that. I am at a C2 level. Depends on the day, depends on the context. So they're putting me at a level 2, which would be still, according to this course, I would say that they're still putting me in A1, A2 category. I learned Swahili by immersion in 3 months, and I was at a B1 level, which is beyond what this is going to take you to. Moreover, they're teaching some vocabulary, quite a bit of vocabulary and some grammar. But let's start with the vocabulary. They teach quite a bit of vocabulary that is not used or not used very often. And then they're also teaching grammar that is correct, but not often used. Now, the problem I have with the Duolingo Swahili course is that it does not explain any of this grammar. So you really need a supplementary a supplement to Duolingo. If you find Duolingo fun, which I do and most people do because it's gamified, but here's one of the books that I recommend. Sorry, it's all taped up and colored over and inserted and written in and everything, but Simplified Swahili by Peter Wilson. This is my favorite book. This is going to explain a lot of these weird problems. But down below, I'm going to give you some more resources. And I just recently, for listening is extremely important. My first 3 months when I got to a B1 level, my biggest weakness was hearing the language. So I could talk and tell you about things I like and things I don't like and how old I am and all these where I'm from and blah, blah, blah. But I was doing a lot more talking than actually listening and comprehending people. So I'm sure I was a little bit annoying in the beginning stages. So in conclusion, with the Swahili course in Duolingo, I wrote some notes here. So there are no speaking exercises in Duolingo's Swahili course. So unlike other courses, like, for example, their French and their Spanish course, there are no speaking exercises. In the very beginning, there are very few listening exercises, which I think is a big weakness because listening is definitely more of a challenge than just blabbing your mouth off and talking. So as you saw for example, later on, you have more listening. Now, the problem I have with this is that this is an AI or a computer-generated Swahili speaker. So it is not a native speaker. It's not been recorded by a person. So the listening is a problem. I missed a couple of exercises because of that. And there's a problem also because you're not able to check your pronunciation of Swahili. There are no speaking exercises. Another problem I have that instead of writing or doing the speaking exercises that are in other courses, you only select from provided words. And as we saw in this test here, sometimes the provided words are very limited, one, or they're only giving you the exact answer. So like you don't even have to think. Again, I've already mentioned this, but there's no explanation, no no supplementary section that teaches you any grammar, which is a huge weakness. You're going to be really you're not going to get a very good grasp or understanding of the language, a really solid grasp. It's just going to be impossible with Duolingo. So you need a supplement or two or three. The first and second levels, that when you first start, you really need to get right in on the necessities of life. Where's the market? I want to go to a restaurant. I need water. Where's the bathroom? Directional to give someone directions, to ask for basic things like this. It doesn't jump right into that, because what you're going to need that first week, that culture shock, that language shock, you're going to need those basic things, and Duolingo just does not give it to you. So you, yeah, that's one of my problems that I have with the program. So it starts out very slowly. It's like, how are these things in the first, second levels, even in the third and the fourth levels, really in all the levels? Like, it's some of the exercises. It's like, what is the applicability of this sentence really? Especially when you're in your first 3 months, or even your first week, which is the most important, because you don't want to get lost. You don't want to get ripped off, things like that. And then the fourth level, they're going into some complicated grammar that is they're complicated grammar that is rarely used. And so they're just leaping right ahead the foundations, and they're going to these more complicated grammar that is, by the way, like I said, not explained, not taught to you. So if you find Duolingo fun, great, but definitely do not rely on it for it to prepare you to come to Tanzania, especially to Tanzania, especially if you're going to any provincial, or if you're going into any of the regions, the outside of Dar es Salaam or Arusha. Duolingo is just not going to cut it for you. I'm sorry. So yeah, and I've tried to give my best on some improvements, and I will be putting some sources, some supplements you can use. Also, for the listening part, which I said was difficult, I will put a link to a YouTube channel. It is a television show in Kiswahili for children that I found somewhat useful in my early days of learning. So, hope this was informational for you, and I frankly find it funny that they put me at level 2 when I'm really at like level 6, or technically on the CEFR I'm at level 6, so they put me at level 2 and I'm a fluent speaker. So I find that amusing. What is your take? What would you like me to review? If you have any questions, put them in the comments below, and I will be very happy to read and to answer. Peace. Amani.